Fredonia. You're listening to The Local Lowdown on WCVF 88.9 The Voice and WDVL 89.5 The Inferno. I'm Mel, executive producer and promotions lead.
Hi, I'm Jordan. I'm your other co-host, and I'm the A&R lead.
And it's Alex here with a little bang of energy drink because it's been a long day. But I'm making sure everything's running today, I promise.
Tonight's show is brought to you by Fredonia Radio Systems in a group effort to promote and showcase the local music scene here in Fredonia, but also Western New York at large. Welcome to The Local Lowdown.
All right, and our guest for the week, we have BP and the Oil Spills. Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm going to pretend like we haven't seen each other at all. But would you mind going around, introducing yourselves, and what role you guys play in the band?
I'm starting. All right. I'm Blaise. I play guitar and I sing vocals.
Nice.
I was going to say lead, but that's not always true.
It's almost always true. I'm Nathan. I also play guitar and also sing vocals, but I sing a little bit less vocals than Blaise.
Nice.
I'm Alex, and I just play the drums.
Cool. We're missing someone, aren't we?
We
Who
are.
are we missing?
We're missing Charlie.
Charlie.
He plays bass and also sings vocals
Yes.
in the band.
We wanted to give a special shout out to Charlie, who couldn't be here today. I know he really wanted to be here. So, hi,
Yep.
Charlie.
Hi, Charlie.
Hi.
Shout out to you, man. So, a question for Blaise. Originally, this project started as just something that you could be unapologetically yourself within. As it started to become a group, how did that group dynamic impact your original vision for this passion project?
Yeah, I think like what I originally intended for the band was to be a solo project, and then Nathan convinced me not to do that. And what I basically wanted is I had been a part of other bands before that basically like had a really hard time like matching up to each other, and like just decided like since we don't fit together, we'll just decide on a genre and go for that. And it made it really difficult to like actually create music.
Yeah.
And I had written a lot of stuff that I wanted to use, but my bands didn't like. So I decided to start like an offshoot of that. That was, like I said, it's supposed to be a solo project that where I could basically just write whatever I want and play whatever I want. That's, I think it didn't really affect that once we became a group. Everyone that joined the band was kind of down with that sickness. But like it just, I have like 3 people that are both like keeping me down in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
I have some like insane ideas that just sound bad versus my insane ideas that turn into insane ideas that make it into songs.
Gotcha.
But also I have 3 people like giving input who are much better at the things that they do than I would be at the things that they do. So that's a lot helpful to have more input on like songs.
So you would say like you're more bigger picture oriented and
Yeah, not to get like too much into our like songwriting style, but like basically we bring sort of a shell of a song and sometimes have like kind of ideas for what other people are going to do. But for the most part, like when I bring a song to the band, I just really let Nathan, Alex, and Charlie kind of do their thing. And we work together on it a little bit and just kind of let them like go off.
Cool. That's interesting to hear. I have a question for probably Alex and Nathan, and it's about the difference in music ventures between working, obviously, in this band and also working in another band that you guys are in, which is Ashford. How, I guess, would you say is like the balance between the both? Is there like something different you bring to the table for each band, or is it mixed?
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
You can go first.
All right. Well, Ashford and BP and the Oil Spills are fundamentally different in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say the biggest difference is Blaise, because things things move very like quickly in BP and the Oil Spills, and like we're even like with our songwriting and like booking and things like that. We all kind of follow Blaise's lead, and it all happens very efficiently and quickly, and it's a ball that keeps rolling. Ashford like has been a thing for a long time, and all 4 of us are kind of giving like all our different parts as like a leader in different ways.
Right.
So there's a lot more bouncing around between like decision making and things like that and songwriting. So I would say like that's a really big difference. Alex, if there's anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, I agree with what Nathan said. Yeah, just sort of different approaches, I guess, like similar in a lot of ways, but also different in a lot of ways. In terms of at least like my part, the drums and stuff, it's like pretty similar. It's like we sort of work on the song, like someone will bring, like Blaise was saying, like a shell of a song. We all sort of put our own part in there, bounce ideas off of each other. So it's like I'm always just trying to put like my own just like sound of drums into whatever we're working on.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about the first release you guys ever did, which was Unrequited. And the first song in there, Breaking Even, starts with like a cappella barbershop quartet intro. What was the creative decision behind making that the first thing that people would hear from this band when they pressed that play button on their streaming service?
Yeah, so that's a song that I actually wrote like from the inside out, like the main song, I guess you would call it. I wrote first, and I had originally written it so that over like the like ambient guitar intro, there was going to be a sung verse there, but I didn't really like the lyrics that were there, so I just scrapped the whole thing. And then from there, I was like, what if this song had a ska outro? And I threw that on there. And then I was like, what if this like ambient guitar intro wasn't the intro to the song? And we like did an a cappella thing. And then everyone else in the band was like, no, we're not doing that. And I was like, trust me, hear me out. I'm going to write the a cappella intro and I'm going to bring it to you guys and you're going to sing it whether you like it or not. Not really. If they didn't like it, we probably wouldn't have done it. But I had this like idea for the a cappella intro because this one band I listened to, Larry and His Flask, they're like kind of a folk punk band.
Okay.
They did shorter a cappella intros in a couple of their songs. I listened to it and I was like, this could go in Breaking Even. And also like lyrically, after I had scrapped that first verse because I didn't like the lyrics, the song kind of felt like incomplete without something before it. Like it just starts out like the first lyrics of their song are like, every time I think I've got you figured out, like there's no like background there, there's no like subject, and I kind of like wrote it backwards from there.
Wow,
and
that's interesting.
the first half of the a cappella intro I wrote like entirely myself. Like I wrote out notes on a little sheet of paper. I like sat down on the piano and like played every individual change, and I was like, this sounds good. But then I kind of got stuck, and I actually one of the first things that Charlie contributed to the band was he's a phenomenal composer and like pianist. And like I came to him and I was like, look, you got to help me finish this up. And he did, and now it's there.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would say it worked in terms of like marketing. Like once I heard that, I was like, okay, these guys are like an eclectic act.
Yeah.
Like it's not just going to be your typical song whenever you hear it. So yeah, I also want to ask a little bit about what's it like having multiple vocalists in the band and what is the creative dynamic there? I mean, at least you have all some sort of vocal chops able to sing, you know, 4-part harmony.
That's actually a 3-part harmony that I wrote specifically to sound as full as a 4-part harmony. There was a little bit of finagling that had to go on there.
Gotcha.
But it's so nice having 3 vocalists, if I'm being honest. Like, I love harmony. That's like you could probably tell. But like that's like one of my favorite like musical things. Like my parents were like freaked out by me when I was like 5 because they would be like listening to a song on a radio and I would just like harmonize with it. It was weird. And it kind of just like stuck with me through the rest of my childhood and now into my musical ventures. It's just so nice to have like 3 very, very capable singers who can like indulge. Do you have anything more to say on that?
I am also a huge fan of harmony. I'm not very good at coming up with it. I love singing it.
Same.
Whenever we come up with new harmonies, I like sometimes just like fall over laughing because I love them so much. Back in the day, when I was like first starting playing music, my good friend and bandmate in Ashford, Trevor, was like really good at harmonizing with things, and I wasn't. So I would just be like singing something and be like, Trevor, like sing the harmony with me, like come on, and he'd be like, why? And I'd just make him sing the harmonies with me because it tickles your brain in this great way. And another thing about having multiple vocalists, I sing a few songs lead vocals in BP and the Oil Spills, but because Blaise like takes on that role more of the time, it's nice to give my voice a break and just like join him on stuff. I kind of like just having him lead the way with a lot of the vocal parts and getting to do my thing here and there. Keep rested.
Right.
I mean, you guys both sound amazing separately, but together you guys all sound chef's kiss.
Thank you.
I'd love to ask Blaise a question about that kind of throaty type effect that you use. Like,
I got you.
what's the inspiration behind that?
Oh man, I love vibrato probably more than I love harmony.
Yeah. Is that
which
like a
is
heavy vibrato
saying
though? Because I feel like it
Yeah.
has. Wow. Okay.
I guess so. It's like so far beyond vibrato, I guess, sometimes that it's a different thing.
Yeah.
So my dad at one point showed me a band called Blues Traveler,
Okay.
and the singer of that band very heavily uses vibrato, and also the band Seven Mary 3. So like my family would like mock that, you know. I liked it, but we would like make fun of it so much, and that like I got good at it. It used to be called in my family goat vocals, because you kind of sounded like
see
a
that.
goat.
Yeah.
And then
can't
as
see it,
I
hear it.
as I listened to like sometimes less and sometimes more dad music, it got to be Alien Ant Farm, which I am probably the only Alien Ant Farm fan that knows like more than Smooth Criminal.
Yeah.
Alice in Chains too.
Yeah.
There's someone else that I can't think of right now, but it's mostly those two recently that have had a big impact on me as a vocalist in that way.
Yeah. Wow. That was a much more long form answer than I was expecting. I'm loving to hear all the
I guess Pierce the Veil, too.
inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's kind of like that, but less noticeably.
Yeah, I definitely caught on, but I was like, what's the chances that there's like a deeper story to that? Thank you for asking.
There is a deeper story revealed.
Right. Well, I mean, we probably should have asked this way in the beginning, but BP and the Oil Spills, I mean, it's become like a very known name, at least here in the music scene, but we got to know like the backstory of this, if it's as deep as like, I guess your vocal
Effect.
background. Yeah, I guess so. What
Skill.
is like the background to that? Was it?
BP is my initials. Like my full name is Blaise Pryzbyla, so it's like a double entendre of like my initials and like the gas company BP, who spilled oil in the Gulf of Mexico
Right.
and killed a bunch of living things in the environment. That's basically it. I brought it to the band.
Right.
Like it was supposed to be the name of the solo project. There was a point in time when I hadn't thought of that yet, that this band was going to be called, like before I even had joined Ashford years ago. Fun fact, I used to be a member of Ashford.
Crazy.
Before I had even joined Ashford, I was like joking around with some like people that I was working with that I would start a band because my one coworker drove a 2009 Chevy Aveo, and I was going to start a band with him. He didn't play music, called Blaise and the 2009 Chevy Aveos. So fun fact.
That's,
Gotcha.
I like that name.
Yeah, I never made the connection between that until like the first email I got from you, and it was like from BP, and I was like, oh, because I always thought it was just referencing like
I'm BP and these are my oil spills.
yeah, yeah.
Is that what you guys refer to yourselves as?
Yes.
Sometimes.
Well, he originally wanted it to be a solo project and still call it that. And I was like, that's dumb. Like, you need oil spills. Like, let us be your oil spills.
Yeah. Well, with it being a solo project, like I was still going to perform, but I was going to have like just musicians like play. Like I would write all the parts and then like, but then I realized, hey, I can't really write good drum parts. And we brought Alex in, and Nathan was already in at that point, and I was like, heck it, we're making a real band here.
See, I feel like I kind of knew the background to this, but I never really like put two and two together, and now it's like all matching. But okay.
It's all coming together.
Well, that was the end of our first portion of interview questions, and now we're gonna head on to our set list, in which you guys are gonna perform 4 to 5 songs, kind of give a brief interview of what the name is and any background. So we will head to the set list.
All right.
All right. This song's called Jade. It's about being apart from someone that you've known your whole life and coming back to realize that, like, you've grown up a lot individually. This next one's Nathan's song, so he gets to introduce it.
This one's called Tangerine. It's about how it's cool to talk about your feelings.
Start to be irrational, but oh, how that's
This song's called Overthink. We released it on Valentine's Day in February 2022 on a single called Unrequited. And it's about exactly what it says.
This is normally where we would play Breaking Even, but unfortunately, Charlie, our bassist, lives in New York, and he couldn't be here, so we're not going to do the acapella intro without him. So here's Overthink.
To give you up once and for all. I've outgrown the thought that your life will align with mine someday. And all the things I said to you, I never lied. Just goes to show how little words can say. My head's gone quiet since you left it, but it feels like I've perfected the art of leading myself on. These thoughts inside my head won't seem to leave me alone. And it's hard enough to keep myself together on my own. Things might be better now that I've moved on. Maybe they wouldn't be so different than I always thought they'd be. It's hard to admit you never meant forever all along. I'm left with thoughts of what we could be. These thoughts inside my head won't seem to leave me alone. And it's hard enough to keep myself together on my own. It's hard enough to keep myself together when the stars align against me, and this feeling in my chest won't go away. And it's hard enough to realize that some things just aren't meant to be, and we'll never see the possibilities.
We got another Nathan song. There's an abnormal amount of Nathan songs because he writes real songs that don't go insane.
They're acousticable.
They go crazy. They go stupid, but they don't go insane.
If you don't believe that this song goes stupid, you can go listen to it right now. We just dropped it. It's called 1149. It's on a little single we released called Carpe Diem. And right after 11:49, we're gonna play "Do Not Enter," which Blaise is gonna take over for. So,
Are we just gonna go right into it?
I think so. Why not?
Yeah, sure.
Ready?
Yep. Well, lately
All right. Well, I guess I'll introduce this one now. The song's called "Do Not Enter." I'm not gonna tell you what it's really about. It's about the time I almost died. That's it. Use your imagination.
So good.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for that performance. That was truly a pleasure. And we're back to our second set of questions here.
Alrighty. For your first question, your first show was in hometown Buffalo, right? And you've done way more performances after that. And you guys done it in Buffalo, Fredonia, and other places as well. How has your...
Nope.
No?
Just Buffalo, Fredonia. We've never played.
I was wrong.
Someday.
Someday.
Someday soon, hopefully.
that being said, how has your performance been, I guess, or as a band has changed over time? You guys performed how many, I guess you say, shows put together?
We've probably been working with like probably an average of like a show a month since we started last August.
Okay.
We've probably played, I don't know, around a dozen times, give or take. I could count it, but that would waste time. I do remember all of them.
Wow.
Sometimes fondly, sometimes not. There's a lot going on up
It's
here.
like the first time.
None of it's good.
There's so much on your mind tonight.
Yeah.
As far as what's changed, when we started playing shows, the first show we got was a Dan Doyle show that he offered us.
Love those Dan Doyle shows.
Love those Dan Doyle
So
shows.
good.
It was a Thursday night at Mohawk. We opened that show for, the weather might say otherwise, an amateur hockey club.
Nice.
They have been on the show. Fun
Yeah.
fact.
Both those,
Yeah.
actually, yeah.
And we had at that point 6 songs written, and we played all of them. And since then, we've written 5 more. So we've sort of switched out some songs and switched in some songs.
Yes,
we still play
yes.
all of them live.
Mm-hmm.
But we were sort of getting to a point where we have to make some tough decisions about what songs we do and don't want to play. And we can sort of like really have a lot of fun with the order and like where we play certain songs. Like we used to sort of like front load our sets with like our poppier songs and then like play our heavier songs towards the back.
Right.
And like at BJ's in August, we sort of switched that up. And I was like, what if we just like played like our heaviest song?
Yeah, I
like,
noticed that
third?
right away. I was
Um,
because I remember when you started North Pole, it was like I think you started with Breaking Even. Am I
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like that was totally thrown into the middle of it this time.
That's actually kind of funny that you bring that up because for that show, we thought we were going to be playing before Moss Tongue. It was kind of a heavier band
Yeah.
to begin with. So we actually set up our set so we like sort of heavied into Moss Tongue.
Yeah.
Oh, look.
And
That's
then
so
we
nice
wound
of
up
you.
playing after that. But it went hard, so
mean,
I'm not complaining.
I will say, obviously, I noticed the change because we were doing interviews right outside BJ's when you guys performed. Like, was it a week ago, 2 weeks? I don't know.
Well, that was
Time
a-
is, but all I remember, I don't know who said it, was like, I can't say the word, but it's my initials, MF. But like, if someone was like, what was it like? What's up?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I have
Do you
no
not
idea what you're
remember?
referencing.
You guys were performing at BJ's, and I know we were doing an interview, and someone's like, "What's up?" And I was like, "Is that?" Anyway,
Oh,
but that definitely caught me off guard. I was like, "Is that?" Because
Yeah,
it was very much of a switch.
was that this is how they do it in LA?
Oh yeah, it was Sup MF. This is how they do it in LA. I think.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, "Is that is them?" But I think we might have even caught it.
Yeah.
Maybe on recording because we were
Um,
recording right outside too.
Yeah, so now we can have like a lot of fun with like where we play certain songs. Like some songs more often than not occupy like a certain spot in the set list, but
Right.
like kind of our shtick as a band is that we have like a very diverse catalog.
Yeah.
And it's fun to like go from our like sort of like funk blues song right into like a like grunge like heavy song, you know.
Right. I mean, talking about your sound, is that something that you guys are going to continue to experiment, or is that something you guys kind of have down packed? And does it really depend?
We plan to never have our sound settle in one place
I
ever.
like that.
The goal is to make every song just like wildly, like
Yes.
just like out of pocket. Like you never know what's coming next.
Yeah, we're gonna take it further for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, that's what
That's
we kind
awesome
of
to
found
hear.
it on. So I'd
We-
like to keep that going.
Yeah, we got some stuff waiting in the wings that's like it's fun
Okay.
I'm excited.
in all kinds of directions.
Sweet. I'd love to mention some. This is a personal thing, but for when you guys played at North Pole, I keep referencing that. I don't know. It's very memorable to me. When your set was over, and then everyone was asking for an encore, and then you just went for shoot, what's it called? Stupid Horse.
Stupid Horse.
And that
horse.
was a moment that I truly enjoyed. It brought on such like a reckless abandon like energy from the crowd. Like I had never seen such a mosh pit breakout so fast down there. Was that something you guys had planned? Like we're like, if there's an encore, we're gonna do this 100 gig song.
Kids love the Gex.
They do. Those youngins.
Yeah, right. Zoomers.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, whenever we play last, we do have an encore planned.
Yeah.
Like we sort of like take from our songs like what we didn't play in our normal set and be
Mhm.
like, okay, what would be the best encore? And we practice that.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess
and-
having a song like Breaking Even gives you the liberty to pull out the ska tune of,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Stupid
Oh,
Horse.
Yeah. Yeah, we've done like 3 covers total, so it's kind of weird that we like encored a cover. But it went hard. I've said that twice now. Anyone else?
Yeah.
I think we've been. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, it's kind of just like our music is already kind of just like all over the place, so it's
Yeah.
kind of just like why not? Like,
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Opportunities wide
Like
open.
our covers are Stupid Horse, One Step Closer by Linkin Park.
Right. I remember Trevor came up for that one.
Yeah. And Go
Classic
with the Flow
Trevor
by
move.
Queens of the Stone Age. We got
Nice.
a
Oh, wow.
couple we got a couple covers planned, but I'm not gonna drop that because we got to work on them.
We'll be waiting.
Yeah, some fun ones for the kids to enjoy.
Sweet. All right. I want to talk a little bit about the church bell intro at the beginning of Carpe Diem, the latest release by BP and the Oilspills. Check it out now if you have not. Yeah, what is the inspiration behind that? It's completely separate from the tempo of the song. Where does that come from?
Okay, so fun fact, like I have known that like church bell chime like for my whole life, obviously. Like my grandmother had a clock in her house that did, and you hear it on the street sometimes. In like 2017, probably, that was like the first thing I came up with, and then wrote the entirety of 1149 after that idea.
Wow.
So I was like, I'm going to start the song like this, and it's going to be about how like every day like feels like the same and you're not going anywhere.
Mhm.
And it's going to play that stupid clock thing because I'm sick of hearing it, and it's just going to remind you that time is just keeping going and you hear
Yeah.
the same thing over and over again. So
Yeah.
it was 2017 probably. It was the first thing I came up with for that song.
Gotcha. So you're just waiting for the right time for it to come together into a song with the right people?
Yeah. Well, actually, like after I wrote that, I wrote most of it, but not all of it. And then like a couple years later, like maybe not a couple, but like a year later, I was like getting ready to make it a song with my band Lost Connections. If any
the
music
old heads.
boomers out there know of Lost Connections. And when
Deep cuts.
we like rebranded into Ashford, I was like, this is not
Yeah.
an Ashford song. And I think it was funny how that feeling that 1149 is about was kind of like evergreen to me as I was finishing up with school because I was way too dedicated of a student and put a lot of pressure on myself. So I wrote the lyrics over like multiple years, and when BPOS started, I was like, I am such a better musician now than I was back then, and this song is like so much more exciting and cool than it would have been back then, and I really want to make it a BPOS song. And it was the second BPOS song we worked on.
It was definitely among them. The first group was Breaking Even, 1149, Do Not Enter an Orbit, I think.
Yeah, I think it was the second one we
Or
actually
maybe
worked on
Leto.
because I knew that BPOS could make it like
Hold on.
really cool.
All
So.
the unreleased titles are just getting leaked right now.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
Cut it out there. Cut it
I'll
out
rattle
there.
them all off right now.
Bet.
Well, speaking of,
Unreleased stuff.
yeah, well, actually, I think it's all released, so never mind. But
You may enter.
yes.
Merge Gremlin here.
Oh, I left it in the lobby, actually.
You left. Wait. What'd you leave in the lobby?
The shirt.
Oh, sure. Let me tell you, I was editing a news package yesterday, and I was like, you know what? Let me check the writer real quick, and I saw in the little rider that Jordan forgot to mention
We all did, to be honest. I didn't even realize.
I
it was
didn't even
there.
see it. Yeah.
that you included like all your musical stuff in there, and it said and a little shirt for the merch gremlin,
Yeah.
a little merch gremlin shirt. Let me tell you, that warms my little gremlin heart. I think it's the first time that's happened. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Merch.
I've watched a couple of these interviews, and I was every single time you bring it up, and I was like, you know what, we have merch. I'll throw that little deep cut in there. Now you got a shirt.
Much appreciated.
Much
Appreciate
appreciated. Thank you so
It's
much.
waiting for you.
Let's see who gets to the lobby first. I'll tell you that.
But you can also get those shirts and the Twitter shirts on our Bandcamp if you can't make it to a show. We'll probably have them for a little while, but at our shows. But if you are out of town or just can't go to a show, then either hit us up or get one on Bandcamp.
I do.
Will do.
I do have a question about that Twitter shirt.
Oh boy.
I've been waiting the whole episode to get into
There you
this,
go.
So
unleash it, man.
Bingus Pingus and the Oingus Spoingus.
Say that
First,
5 times.
why?
So this is gonna be hard to do without swearing. Well, because there is a particular phenomenon on the internet where you specifically make joke posts.
Uh-huh.
We all know what that's called.
Mm.
But like
Crap
in the
posting.
crap posting.
There we go.
Nice.
There we go. Yeah.
So like when this band started, like we had an Instagram, but we didn't really have any content. And Nathan was like, yeah, the way to like make it into the local scene is to like just like harass bands on Twitter. So I, of
So you
course,
did.
took that, like took some liberties with it. I started harassing The Weather Might Say Otherwise, Amateur Hockey Club, those two in particular. And Matt from Amateur Hockey Club totally took the bait. And he's a large part of the reason that we are the
Jeez.
band that we are now and that we've had the opportunities that we have had. So I'm very grateful to Matt from Amateur Hockey Club. Even when he's not here, everything is about him.
So let's talk about Matt now. No,
Let's talk about Matt. No, so I started doing that, and Nathan could tell you more about how he had veto power on the Twitter. He definitely deleted some things
Oh my goodness.
behind my back.
It's like a thin stuff on Twitter.
Literally. And the Bingus Pingus and the Oingus Spoingus, I don't know where that came from. It just came into my head at some point, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to tweet this. Alongside such bangers as Rush is a pop punk band. I every now and then I just like scroll through because like our Twitter is read only now. Like we can see it,
Oh, okay.
but nobody else can see our tweets.
Oh.
That's a shame.
So like if you guys want, you can just scroll through it. But anyway, that was just like something that came into my head. The tweet that actually got us banned was Trevor from Ashford, who also produces us, good friend of ours.
Yeah, shout out Trevor.
Setting the scene here. Perennial and Before by Ashford were my 2 top stream songs on Spotify in 2021. Big fan.
Oh, no.
And I tweeted at Ashford, yo, can I, like, these are my 2 top stream songs. Can I get a yerba? Because they're, like, partnered with yerba. And Trevor responded, yeah, you can just go to the store and buy one. And I responded to that, I will skin you alive and throw you in the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh my God!
Instantly permaban. No getting it back.
How long did that take before you
Wow.
were like,
3 seconds. Literally.
3 seconds.
Like, I
Skin.
refreshed the page and it was gone. Our
Holy.
account was gone. We couldn't tweet anymore. Like, they dropped the guillotine on us.
Wow.
Wow.
it's like
Was
they're
it worth
looking
it?
at your your Twitter and they're like waiting for you to.
Yeah,
Was
probably.
Was threatening him worth the permaban?
It's a great story. I would love to be on Twitter right now. I think I am actually like IP banned on Twitter.
Oh my gosh.
Because, well, we were temporarily banned, but we tried submitting appeals, and it did not work, and we got no responses to my knowledge or to Nathan's knowledge. He submitted like screenshots of the fact that he's logged into both Twitter accounts, and they
Right.
just did not respond. So after a while, I was like, all right, I'll just make a new account. And apparently they care a lot more about that than they do about rating appeals. Because once they figured out that that was me, they were like, yeah, it says in our rules, like in the fine print, that you can't make another account to skirt around a ban. So they permanently banned me from Twitter.
You can bleep this out. What the hell?
That is wild.
Yeah.
And Alex and I are not going to test the waters to see if we're allowed to make a BPOS Twitter. Because if Twitter so much as just smells a little bit of oil in the water, they are just going to permanently ban
The Atlantic Ocean.
like our
That's
IP.
it.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
vast Atlantic Ocean of Twitter.
Yep.
And then it's RIP.
One
Ashford.
drop of oil in there and they'll squash it.
My
Yeah.
goodness.
That is crazy. I remember going through your little merch collection and seeing that tweet, and then just offhand, like being told that you guys were like banned off of Twitter. And I was like,
Well, you've seen the back of the shirt, right?
I have not seen the back of the shirt.
Oh, the back of the shirt is the message you get when you log into a permanently suspended Twitter.
Oh.
Yeah, so obviously that's not the tweet that got us banned. We just thought it would be, like, the original
Funny.
idea was to have, like, a Bingus Pingus and the Oingus Spoingus shirt.
Sorry, I can't.
I know.
I just can't get over how like.
I've said it so many times that it, like, I can say it without laughing, but it is a great power that I know not to test the limits of. But the original idea was to just have a shirt that, like, says that, whether it's, like, block letters, Comic Sans. You know, we couldn't settle on anything. I wanted the Comic Sans. He wanted the block letters.
Ooh, Comic Sans. I'm
That's
liking that.
crazy.
See?
I am.
Yeah, but imagine with like those little like toys that are like cubes that have letters on
Okay, I
them.
kind
Oh, I like that
Uh,
too.
see.
Yeah, I have to. I couldn't
So-
picture what block letters was.
We couldn't decide. So we were like, what if it was just, like, a screenshot of the tweet? And then we additionally added the idea of the permanently banned message on the back of the shirt. And it's funny because I explained the joke. It's funny because it's funny because you see the shirt and
Right.
associate the two with each other, but they're not related at all.
That's
That's a
so
great
good.
story.
And I am honestly so thankful that it was such a long story, because in the middle of the story, my camera right here was like beep, 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 SD card, 1 minute left. And I was like, oh, I'm in the middle of talking.
Oh, no.
Good old
It
technology.
was all planned.
It was all planned, yes. But besides shirts, because everybody loves shirts, but I also personally, I very much love physical media. I love me a good CD. I love me a good cassette. I love me a good record, or any of those in the pipeline. I'd love a little oil spill. Goodness.
Yeah, yes and no.
Yes and no.
We've been releasing like 2-song singles, and kind of our general idea is that like we're gonna just keep releasing digital stuff, and then like our first 10 songs kind of go together. So like we're kind of semi-undecided how we're gonna release the rest of the 6. But once we have all 10 of those songs released, we're going to do a physical only LP. Like CDs only, maybe tapes. I don't know if anyone listens to tapes.
Tell you what,
I
I've got
listen to CDs all
quite
the
the
time.
collection of local tapes in my office right now.
Okay.
So
Okay.
But yeah, Blaise originally came to me, was like, I love LPs. We need to make an LP. And I love LPs. They're my favorite. I shot that idea down so fast. I was like, absolutely not. Like, it's going to take forever for our music to get released, and no one's going to listen to the whole LP. We got to do singles or EPs or something.
Yeah.
It was not something that I wanted to suggest, but I think that it's more successful to do it that way. But to fulfill the original vision, we're probably going to combine all those songs into that
Yeah.
We've
physical
been-
That is a
original
trend.
album.
Yeah, we've
Yeah,
been
not the
hearing that
first
a
person.
lot from artists,
Yeah.
that just putting out singles is a lot better in terms of, viewership and
Yeah.
recognition than putting out a full LP.
Yeah, and I
Love
got
can't
us on the
stand that.
map.
Huh?
It got us on the map,
Mhm.
recording singles because, I don't know, like we've recorded 4 songs by now. Who's to say that we'd even have like had as much money as we have if we hadn't released those songs?
Right.
Just for like show opportunities, exposure, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
But if you think about it, like we've existed for a little over a year now, and we only have 4 songs released. So if we were originally setting out to record an LP, then like, would any of it be out? I don't know. And then we wouldn't be here.
Yeah. I mean, again, you're not the first person. It's also something that's like been brought up, and it sucks because most artists don't do it out of their own choosing, you know, because obviously some songs are put together more so with the idea of them connecting with one another. An album kind of, there's a story behind it, but obviously for exposure and stuff like that, there's a reason why singles work better and it blows, but it got sad so quickly. I did not mean for that to go so sad.
But on a positive
But
note,
yeah,
we're
it's
in the studio very soon, working on some more songs.
Ooh, okay.
And we'll
It's like
eventually have
releases.
the original LP on a CD, hopefully. So.
Which will also include the singles.
Yeah, it'll be all the singles /
Oh.
EPs we release of the
Gotcha.
first 10
Which will
as
also
the LP they were meant to be.
which will also be included in my collection once that
Yeah.
comes
And
out.
mine.
But they're not going to be a digital LP. We're just not going to do that.
Oh, okay.
You can
Sorry,
make a
it just
playlist
made
of
sense
the
now.
album.
Yeah.
We're
Jordan's
combining all the
mind
digital stuff.
finally clicked.
Yeah.
Into place.
Like, yeah,
Because
yeah,
people
yeah.
who like LPs like CDs, and people who don't like LPs stream for the most part.
Right. Last question before we move on, because I realized we didn't do this in our last episode. What is any future plans, I guess, in the near future, any shows that we should be looking forward to, solo projects, et cetera, et cetera?
We're going to break up.
Nice.
Nice. So this is your last
Yeah, this is the
interview.
last one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
One last
retiring
the
from
raw.
drums.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's retiring from drums.
Yeah, I
Oh.
quit.
Wow.
I'm so
Play.
sorry.
Kind of
Oh,
sad
man.
Charlie
Can
couldn't
I-
be here for it.
No, we're looking into hopefully getting some shows out of town, in more than just Buffalo and Fredonia. We're kind of, I don't know, we're not like taking a back seat on shows in Buffalo,
Right.
but like we're just sort of taking it as it comes.
Right.
Mhm.
And quick plug, my booking company, Gulf of Mexico Productions,
No.
Okay.
is like I've been involved with that for a while, and so that's given me a couple like connections with booking in other places.
Oh, wow.
So we're kind of trying to make that work, get some shows down like where Charlie is in New York City.
Hey, have a
sorta-
performance in Queens. That's where I live.
In Queens.
Queens.
All right. Any recommendations?
No.
Okay.
You probably-
Amityville Music Hall on the
That's
island.
That's too
shot.
far. That's too far.
No, it
No,
isn't.
do it in the city.
Isn't it like huge too?
Yes. Don't listen to him. It's too
What,
far
the
from
music hall?
Yeah.
It's like it's a local venue. I'd equate it close to kind of like Main Street in size. If you've been to Main Street Studios.
Oh,
Yeah.
I actually haven't been in there yet, but I will.
Were you not
at
at
some
a
point.
37 Fest Night 1? Or?
No,
Oh, dang.
I'm a fake fan.
It would
Fake fan.
it would probably be close to Mohawk Place then.
Yeah.
Okay.
would- Close
Gotcha.
in size to there.
Gotcha.
Also, they are performing at RockIn the Commons. That's something you forgot to mention last week.
No, we
but
didn't.
I think we did.
We
yeah,
did mention
I'm
it.
pretty sure we did.
I forgot. Sorry. But you guys will also be performing for us at RockIn the Commons, which is September 24th at Barker Commons. There will be a food truck with
Puerto
Puerto Rican. I keep saying
food.
Peruvian. Puerto Rican food, games, raffles. Am I missing anything?
There's going to be some other bands there too.
Oh, of
Some other
course.
bands.
You want to?
Hal and Pals will be there. Johnny and the Man Kids will be there.
Capo 2.
Capo 2.
Marquis Grand.
And we got some a cappella groups.
Yes. Yes.
It's going to be a great time.
Yeah. So that is going to wrap up our episode. Thank you guys so much for coming on. It really was a pleasure having you guys on. And
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
yeah, of course. Gave us a really good insight as to your music, any background information that we probably could have known from albums
Lore.
and such.
BPOS lore.
Thanks for diving deep into the merchandise with me.
I'm a deep dive
You
man.
know what?
Mhm.
I'm going to put a request right in, like afterwards. I want a shirt. I want to wear it. Anyway. But that concludes another episode of the Local Lowdown. Thank you guys so much for coming on to the show. It was a pleasure having you guys. And who do we have on next week, Jordan?
Next week, we have Johnny and the Man
Johnny and the Man
Kids, a
Kids.
Buffalo favorite.
The
Yes.
Spaghetti Boys.
Spaghetti.
Pepperoni
Oh,
boys.
we didn't get into that.
Thanks for tuning in to the local lowdown on 88.9 WCVF The Voice and 89.5 WDVL The Inferno. It's been another awesome week, and next week we'll have another great show with the Man Kids. Same time,
Same place. Bye, guys.
Bye.